Hey everyone, welcome back to the Convo Couch here. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Convo Couch is currently experiencing a Marxist-Leninist revolution, hence why the white man has been replaced by a young black woman and a leftist QAnon. Speaking of, we got Scoop Gang here.
They have invaded the premises. Scoop Gang has invaded the fam. and they're here because tomorrow we're going to be doing a press panel on Julian Assange, press freedoms, and also imperialism. And then Sunday, fam, what are we doing?
Sunday, April 11th, starting at noon, we will be meeting at the CBS Columbia Square in Hollywood, and we will be marching up to Hollywood Boulevard where the Walk of Fame is, and then we'll be marching down to CNN to protest the 2-year anniversary of Julian Assange being dragged out of the Ecuadorian embassy in London and dragged to Hellmarsh Prison where he currently resides.
Yeah.
You guys were distracting me.
Yeah, well, look, telling you to look at the camera. So anyway,
okay, yeah.
So this is an international day of action.
Yes.
There are over.
I was gonna get to that.
There are nearly 40 cities that are having in-person events. Just kind of in our own sphere of the Assange community. DM25 has events going on as well. Like there's over, I believe over 60 internationally now. There are for the first time double-digit numbers of events in the United States. This is something that we have been working towards the entire time that we've been doing the Free Assange Vigils. On like the very first one, we were saying we would like for this to turn into a decentralized network of activists who are holding events autonomously and operate on consensus, and now here we are 92 weeks later. We've got, I believe, 11 or 12 events now in the US. Really looking forward to what we've got going on here in Los Angeles too.
Yeah, well, Steve, welcome, and Glory, you live here, but so thank you
Nice
for
to
being
see
here,
you
though.
again.
Nice to see you again. Pasta will be on later, and we'll be talking about some stuff. But
Sleepy J, guys.
Sleepy J is around; he's hiding. But we're very excited about what's about to happen. We've been planning this for a while, so I hope to see some of you guys there. But guys, like, the reason we do this shit, right? It's because we have a lot of fucking corrupt politicians that are basically running PR for the national security state and the military industrial complex. And among those politicians that has been in the news, unfortunately for us all, has been AOC. And as tired as I am about talking about AOC, what we have been warning about, what your channel has been warning about, what we have been talking about, what very few other people in independent media have been actually talking about, is the fact that there's a merging of the government with the these dark forces in the national security state and big tech. And when January 6th happened and we were there, we saw that there was going to be a backlash. We saw it for what it was, which is basically controlled PSYOP, in the sense of where as soon as that happened, they were able to continue to start passing legislation that was draconian, that was fascistic, that was Orwellian in its forms. And what we've been talking about ad nauseum is that as soon as that event happened, it was to manufacture consent for just a full-on Patriot Act 2.0. And so yesterday there was a person, a young man who was here in Los Angeles. He was approached by CHP, California Highway Patrol, because of a tweet that they posted about AOC. So it was the tweet that all of us have talked about. The tweet in particular, having to deal with her both citing and rambling salad bullshit on Israel-Palestinian conflict. And so when that happened, a lot of people made fun of her. That was like, it's been a week, 2 weeks almost of mask off AOC shit that we've been talking about forever. And so when that happened, of course, this person posted it, and then subsequently they were approached by CHP, and CHP said, oh, the Capitol Police sent us. And then, of course, Ryan, public relations for AOC Grimm, said that an AOC spokesperson told them that it came from Capitol Police, not from AOC. But I wanted to ask you guys.
And a reminder that this also comes off the heels of the arrest of Daniel Baker in Tallahassee for a Facebook post,
right?
Yeah.
Where he said, "Oh, I hope right wingers come again so I can fucking knock them up or some shit like that." Like, and he's still in jail for this too, because of the potential, to commit a crime. So we're in the era of pre-crime,
right? Right. This is exactly pre-crime, right? And Pasta and I have talked about it in the sense of, if you guys remember that stupid movie, Tom Cruise, like Minority Report, like this. No, you think that's science fiction? Well, this is it. This is it. Like no crime was committed. It was the fact that there was a potential for a violent act, and they always use January 6th as the pretext for that, right? And of course, a lot of people were outraged. I called and left a message. Glenn Greenwald called. Richard Medhurst called. I mean, we're all like, what the fuck's going on? Yeah. But the most important thing to note, guys...
I could curse at some cops.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
The most important thing to note is that Twitter had to have given this person's information because this person doesn't even use their real name on Twitter. So that means that Twitter literally gave the government somebody's private information.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Well, I mean, that's what all these technologies do. It's like a couple months ago, we found out that Ring Amazon was working with LAPD to identify protesters from the George Floyd protests like last summer. And that happens for normal crimes as well, where you get big tech just collaborating with law enforcement. And now especially, it's going to get even worse as me and Steve are covering the National Security Council report on AI, which is just fucking awful.
Oh, God.
And the increase of AI and such databases by law enforcement is only going to increase as this goes up, especially now that you have regulatory bodies wanting to establish a baseline for use of facial recognition technology in databases. So that baseline means that all law enforcement agencies can use it now, and it's only going to get fucking worse.
yeah, and vaccine passports are part of that too, because they are merging your financial information with your personal, like, data mining, and with, of course, your health, everything that is about you, your DNA, all of that. This is what you guys have been talking about for a while, what Whitney Webb has been talking about, what Ryan Christian, who we just had on the show yesterday, was talking about.
Ryan.
This is like this is scary. And a couple of things I want to point out was, of course, the shitlib giraffe segment of Twitter was saying this is impossible, this is fake news, this didn't happen, AOC would never do that, blah blah blah, these are conspiracy theories. Well, the person, there was a witness to what happened to this person, like their friend. This is Erica Marble. Now, it's worth noting.
Can I say it?
Hashtag
G-off lives don't matter.
G-off lives don't matter.
Yeah.
Hashtag
100% serious.
GLDM.
GLDM.
So just it's worth noting that this person who was approached worked for Soapbox, which has been designated on Twitter as a Russian state media outlet. So that's also interesting that Russians were tied. I think Pasta's like, I don't know what he's doing.
I told you, it's hard to like contain your reactions the first time you're on in the studio.
Yeah, because you can hear Pasta.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I mean, look, man, I have kids. They're loud. You know,
Yeah.
just recently moved to a new location for the studio. I'm very much used to what? First, okay. Is it not hearing? I'm very much used to trying to pretend like it doesn't sound like there's a stampede of battling yet somehow apologetic elephants.
So guys, I wanted to reiterate that CHP confirmed and said that they investigate at the request of allied agencies. And if you want more information, to please contact the Capitol Police. So you can put that one up, Johnny. Yeah. Like, okay, So what the fuck does CHP have to do with the Capitol Police? Like, what? This is what people think. Like, when we talk about Glory, especially you understand this. When we talk about covering protests and we talk about, fuck 12 or we're over there filming the cops here, a lot of people who are, let's say pro police but are anti the police state, they're like, oh yeah, free speech, First Amendment. But then they like bootlick the state police. Well, this is what I'm talking about. There's no real difference here. They are all part of the same mechanism. You have the CHP of California Highway Patrol communicating with the Capitol Police over Twitter posts. I mean, I don't know how to get it through people's head, like how fucking it's just so draconian.
Yeah.
In the summer of 2019, Mike Pompeo was giving a speech.
Can you address him by his correct name, Steve?
Mike, we lied, we cheated, we stole. We had whole training courses on it. It reminds me of the glory of the American experiment, Pompeo. Mike presented a bag of dog food by an Italian journalist in the hopes that he would eat it and eat it regularly in a way to gain some, empathy and loyalty. Pompeo. He called out the just dire need for law enforcement. Every three-letter agency on the planet, local police departments, sheriffs, state police, they are fighting an uphill battle. They are struggling. They need the ability to scour every corner of the internet so that they can stop crimes before they happen. This is what Mike Pompeo said. He said, God forbid something like multiple mass shootings happen at the same time. We need to be able to prevent things like this. What if they were coordinated? And then about 3 weeks later, there were 2 multiple mass shootings within a 24-hour period. Turns out one of them was a kid who shot his sister and I think her boyfriend and then himself. And it had really nothing to do with, the rise of white supremacy or the, epidemic of mass shootings, which disappeared, by the way.
Yeah.
I understand COVID. I do. That doesn't mean that, people stop shooting people.
If anything, it would be
Yeah,
worse.
if anything, it's gotten worse.
And so that happened, and that Monday, Donald Trump came out and he said, we need to be able to stop these crimes before they happen. We're going to open a pre-crime division. And it will go live January 2021. And 99% of independent media said abso-fucking-lutely nothing. Nothing. And now people are trying to say, oh, well, that's not real. And we've got CHP headquarters verified Twitter account saying, hey, yo, look, what you got to do is call the Capitol Police because we helped them out.
So don't lick the boot. And listen to Slow News Day and listen to a lot of the people that are actually talking about shit that is important, that is pertaining to the national security state and all the things that are happening. Another situation happened with somebody that was you know what, before we go there, because a lot of people were saying this wasn't true, I want to go back to what AOC said in January and February and why I was so outraged at her fucking bullshit, because that's when we also got we got demonetized. Niko got demonetized. A bunch of people got demonetized or taken down. Franco, Frank Analysis.
All at the same time.
Right. With the same email. And of course, we have been some of the few indie media that have been critical of fucking AOC. And so during the Force the Vote thing, that was the first part where AOC said that tweets were violent. She basically said that fucking criticisms of her were violent, and to be honest, it was hard during this to be targeted marred as some sellout enemy of the people over a late tactical disagreement over one floor vote. Also, a bummer to see figures excuse comments like F her and F anyone who protects her. That's not tone. That's violence. Violence. So tweets are now violent. And then in February, what happened? Oh yeah, so one of my friends messaged me and forwarded me freaking out like, hey, what the hell is up with this email? And we know that she was basically sending an email to tell her supporters about all these lies and misleading information. And she said, if you can enforce Twitter and Facebook rules to take action, basically asking people to fucking censor other people and take down their accounts, right? Scan your social media, find posts, blah, blah, blah. Don't tweet any hashtags, but make sure you report these profiles and identify them and flag them for the moderators, blah, blah, blah. And she was talking about people have been radicalized, and she was talking about how sad it was. And this hatred could someday boil into violence. And she said specifically, this is exactly what led to thousands of enraged rioters storming the Capitol building on January 6th. And she says it right there. She literally is telling people to go and report profiles and go scan their fucking tweets. That's why I was extremely pissed off that she did that, because she's calling all of this disinformation. So now any attack on her or anybody potentially is disinformation. In retrospect, now, when you see what actually fucking happened, you can't say that, I'm sorry, like there's no like coordination there. I don't care if her spokesperson said, no, this didn't come from AOC. This is the result of not just her actions, but the actions of fucking people in power to fucking do this. And instead of speaking out against it like a fucking actual anti-imperialist leftist would do, she actually pushed for it. She pushed for censoring people.
Well, I mean, not to mention, this is their plan anyways. At the end of the day, AOC is another PR agent for the Empire. And what is the Empire trying to do right now? They're trying to salvage their power and resources through the Great Reset, through Davos 2021. So that's why when me and Steve very regretfully and grudgingly sat through a press freedom panel on the Davos 2021 agenda conference, they were saying exactly what AOC is saying, that the Capitol Hill insurrection was a product of what happens when there's not enough filters on information, and how shutting down people on Twitter just reminds you of the powers of the CEO to stop disinformation. That's their own words coming from their mouth, and AOC is just the mouthpiece for that narrative management. That's all she's there to do. So that's why she's going to keep saying that anything going against the official narrative is misinformation. Oh, fucking boo-hoo, AOC. And it's like, bro, you're not fucking getting anywhere by pretending like the US has free and fair elections. Our elections are fucking privately owned. Like, fuck out of here with that bullshit and go and carrying water for these people just because you don't want to be a chud, because you don't want to get labeled QAnon, because you want to keep all those subs and views and stay monetized. Right. Like, it's not going to help you at the end of the day. They are going to go and wipe out anything that goes against the official narrative, and they're starting with election integrity. That's what AOC is trying to do, and fuck her for that.
And yeah, Steve, anything to say?
Oh no, so real quick though, big up to Robbie Yeager in the Rokfin chat, Niko House in the YouTube chat.
Niko!
There's I guess Andrew was just on Tucker Carlson, so there may be a few people showing up to the live stream.
Rob Juno is in the chat.
Rob Juno.
Love you, Rob.
Look, man, I hate talking about the new herself. You know, little fucking I told you guys from day one that AOC was here to inherit Nancy Pelosi's power, not to take it away from her. And I took a lot of shit for that, and you guys took a lot of shit for that when you started pointing it out. Niko took a lot of shit for it, and I mean, cool, dude. We're not in it for the you were right, I'm sorry. We're not here for that. We're not here for that. We're not gonna get it anyway. But we're not. That's not why we do this shit. We do this shit because like they were both
because we have alarms to raise. Like
we don't have time.
No,
we don't.
No,
we're the reason that we're in the streets, this weekend is because the United States is trying to claim international jurisdiction over the press. The United States is trying to criminalize just receiving or after the fact sharing classified information, let alone
God
publishing
forbid
it.
you want to protect your source along the way.
That's investigative journalism. The rule number one in investigative journalism is source protection. If you're not going to protect your source, you're never going to be able to do that again. And unless you're The Intercept, then you get to do it 3 or 4 times. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that, right? The Intercept.
Well, that's why Ryan's running PR for
multiple
AOC.
That is exactly why Ryan Grimm is running PR for AOC, because Ryan Grimm's name is attached to the Reality Winner story, and I somebody please go find out, because I'm not going. I don't want to say, during a live stream that Ryan's name was attached to like Joshua Schultz or Daniel Hales or had anything to do with Ross Ulbricht or anything like that. But look, the crew that was working with The Intercept to burn Reality Winner, to burn Joshua Schultz, to burn Daniel Hale, they're all still there.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. They're all still there.
Glenn Greenwald is gone. Fucking finally, too.
Yeah.
Took you a bit, but I'm glad you got there, Glenn. I am.
Well, and I'm glad on his way out he did cite the handling of the Reality Winner story was something that, like, to this day kills him. But my point being to that, like, we're organizing because we don't get to without a free press. We don't get to without our ability to communicate our message as activists to people who wouldn't ordinarily hear it, who may not already agree with us, and that's the fundamental core of activism. You don't get to do it without that. So we need you guys to come be a part of this. Said we've got events in 11 or 12 U.S. cities.
Yeah,
There's
Los
cities...
Angeles, Denver, Boston every other week. So they did one last week. They're not doing one this weekend, but they did one last weekend, and they'll be doing one next weekend. It's not in America, but it's close. Toronto, Raleigh, North Carolina, DC, Chicago, Seattle, now Portland. There's a Portland Assange supporters chapter. Denver, Tulsa. You got literally 2 people holding it down in Tulsa, and that's fucking awesome. New York City. There's an Assange supporter in Buffalo that's looking for actions and people to link up with. So may have an impromptu one in that area. And that's all I can remember for the U.S. one so far, because it's on the same continent, Mexico City.
Yeah,
Toronto.
I said Toronto.
Oh, okay,
the point of what they're echoing too is the fact that we cannot talk about everything else when, like for instance, the issue was Israel-Palestine on in this Twitter video that person put, right? Mm-hmm. You can't even talk about that because now, you're attacking our beloved Israel, and AOC said it, so you're attacking the Democratic Party. So the point is, if you don't have press freedoms, if you don't have the freedom of speech, none of these issues that you progressives gravely care about, that some of us care about, like whatever. You can't fight for them because now it's going to be a crime to even fucking talk about them. So if you care about all of these other issues, you should care about free speech and Assange.
And if you go to the original thread from that fantastic handle, Queer Alamode, that's just great, dude. That is, man. That's good work. Good work. The tweet under it says, I believe is why this person got approached, because the milquetoast, I was underwhelmed with this, for the initial one. There's no way the California Highway Patrol showing up to your house for that. But what's interesting is that the next tweet is words AOC said.
Right.
And it's like why and how or some shit like that. And then it's words I wish she would have said. There you go.
Yep.
So scroll, get the boom. And then next one down.
Yep.
Yeah. Words she didn't use: occupation, apartheid, colonization, and genocide.
Yep.
So the person is
You have
suggesting.
to click on the other one, Johnny.
Yeah.
The person is suggesting.
No, the one
Human
with the
Rights
video.
Watch watcher is suggesting that, rightfully so, by the way, that Israel is a nation
That one, yeah.
that governs based on apartheid. True.
Yes.
That has occupied territory that it does not belong to it. True.
Yes.
That it has colonized. True.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that is responsible.
By Zionists themselves.
Yeah, and that is responsible for a genocide. 100% true.
Yes.
So
and if
stating,
you don't believe us, then go look up Eva Bartlett's work.
stating facts about Israel on a tweet in terms of the way you would prefer an elected official to speak about, let's be honest, a terrorist state. That gets you a visit by the cops. That does. And Twitter gave up this person's real name.
Yep.
Twitter gave up at least what city they were in or what phone they used to do it so they could be tracked. This is the same Jack who was trying to put on a decent face at that tech hearing just a couple of weeks ago. And you guys got to remember, dude, this is not Jack's company.
It's not.
Jack
Half of
is
the
not a
ownership
Saudi.
is
Yeah.
half of the ownership is by a Saudi prince. Hence why when we tried to go to war with Iran over a year ago now, one of the first people whose accounts was suspended during that whole episode was fucking President Bashar al-Assad himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, yeah. So, guys, like, it's fucking serious now. Like, everything we said would happen after 1/6, by the way, is happening. All these things, like, they're going after dissent. Ooh, let's become FBI agents in the CIA and rat on everybody else. No, dude, they're gonna come after not just the freaking the Proud Boys, not just all the 3%ers. They're gonna come after. They even had the Boogaloo Boys in an article. They had Antifa. They had any sort of militia, any sort of anarchist organization. Those are the people they're gonna go after. And this is nonpartisan, because what happened was that somebody else got approached by the FBI for tweeting about Ted Cruz. Now, Ted Cruz, like, he's an easy target for a lot of people because he's Ted Cruz. But
It's fair.
But he, like, fucking, like, the FBI showed up at this dude's store. Like, and I confirmed with him that this actually happened because, there's a lot of shit on the internet. You got to confirm it. I mean, dude's got pictures up the wazoo, and you can just look at that. For a tweet to Ted Cruz. And then you can see the freaking FBI there. And then he said, oh, God, I don't even know. I'm looking for a specific tweet. Okay, so he was just sharing his story that I don't really want to go into. But I messaged this person. This person is a progressive that actually followed me on Twitter. And they made a tweet about Ted Cruz. The FBI shows up. How does the FBI know their address? they had to get it from Twitter. So Twitter, anything you post will now be up for grabs. It's free game. They can go find us here tomorrow. They could show up here and be like, well, Slow News Day said something about like Geoff lives don't matter or some shit, and like they can fucking show up and say, hey, you guys are threatening. I mean, and the worst part is you have the fucking contingent of these little fucking like shit libs that have become CIA operatives and cops and pretty much are doing the bidding of these people. They're looking, they're trying to get accounts taken down.
Volunteer snitches.
Insane.
Yes.
It's
Snitch.
they're snitches.
Voluntarily snitching, signing up to go snitch.
Yeah.
And look, man, we're in a snitch fucking culture right now. We got people who every day are putting hard money into more advertisement to recruit contact tracers.
Yeah.
This is AOC begging her followers.
You have the FBI.
Because let's not forget, dude, AOC's a fucking Instagram influencer with a congressional seat, dude. I'm so sick of talking about this shit, dude.
You have the
like,
FBI putting out tweets daily talking about, here's a picture of said person on the Capitol that we took from Baked Alaska's stream. We need your help identifying it.
Yeah. They know who that person is.
They don't know
damn well.
I don't think I've had this rant on Convo Couch yet, but the FBI does not need your fucking help identifying people from Capitol Hill, for fucking fuck's sake. The database searches in facial recognition technology companies like Clearview AI, whose primary investor, one of them is Peter fucking Thiel himself, their database searches have spiked with guess who else? Law enforcement agencies themselves. And they're collaborating with the FBI and just giving that information over because that's what they fucking do. And you think that the FBI needs your help when they have the access to the most like cutting edge facial recognition technology ever, and databases that take from not just Twitter but Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and all of those shits. The FBI does not need your fucking help. They're just training people to snitch.
Exactly.
I just heard somebody yelling and screaming. I came down to check with you.
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
everybody's good.
Pasta.
Yeah.
You're up next because your section.
I have to get meals done. We're a little bit behind, so I'm gonna keep it today because it's a nice festive meal for all my fans.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
so if anybody couldn't hear that was Pasta just checking in because she got hyped. Yeah, we say we. I mean, I got a little ranty and fired up. So Pasta came down to check on us, and he's cooking us a nice meal. So that's why he can't be on stream. Because he has to be a grandma, but we love him for it.
We do. Did you guys want to talk about anything in specific that we could bring up? Because I know you guys.
Real quick, JG and Gilded Gazette, thank you very much for the tips over on the Rokfin.
Nice.
Oh, really? Is it like really? It's that sensitive?
Isn't that super?
Okay, because I frequently, randomly yell, so I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to blow anybody's ears out or anything. Right. Well, it's not like I planned this shit. It just falls out.
Yeah.
100. I've explained this before, but all of these live streams are like kind of like in a blackout for me because I'm in the moment. I'm merely present, and I don't write any of this shit out beforehand.
We don't. Well, if
anyone
we do
who's watched
show
enough of our shows, has watched our lives, watch us do a production meeting on a live stream.
Yeah. We'll be like, hey yo, we should meet should we meet for DC? Should we meet for LA tonight? Like, hey yo, we should probably stream tomorrow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'll throw some links in the element.
Okay. Well, did you still want to do the thing, or were we gonna do that?
You know what? I don't know. It's up to you.
God damn it.
Just being in the middle of YouTube is a whole experience. It's like a whole fucking experience. So, fam, let's just do the Eisenhower thing, though, because I wanted to play the video because Eisenhower warned us about the technological, Pasta's favorite word, elites, merging with government.
There's nothing elite about these pieces of shit. That's why we call them the predator class.
Yeah, I like that better. The predator class. Yeah. They think they're elites.
I
But
prefer cunts.
Well, yeah, but
All right, let's play it, guys. And Johnny, mute the mics after when you play it.
Of defense
Mute.
with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together. Akin to and largely responsible for the sweeping changes in our industrial military posture has been the technological revolution during recent decades. In this revolution, research has become central. It also becomes more formalized, complex, and costly. A steadily increasing share is conducted for, by, or at the direction of the federal government. Today, the solitary inventor, tinkering in his shop, has been overshadowed by task forces of scientists in laboratories and testing fields. In the same fashion, the free university, historically the fountainhead of free ideas and scientific discovery, has experienced a revolution in the conduct of research. Partly because of the huge costs involved, a government contract becomes virtually a substitute for intellectual curiosity. For every old blackboard, there are now hundreds of new electronic computers. The prospect of domination of the nation's scholars by federal employment, project allocations, and the power of money is ever present and is gravely to be regarded. Yet in holding scientific research and discovery in respect, as we should, we must also be alert to the equal and opposite danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific, technological elite. It is the task of statesmanship to mold, to balance, and to integrate these and other forces, new and old, within the principles of our democratic system, ever aiming toward the supreme goals of our free society. Another factor in maintaining balance involves the element of time. As we peer into society's future, we, you and I.
So one thing, I know you guys have previously watched the speech, but one thing I do want to point out, but from this Real Clear Politics article, is the synergy between Washington and Silicon Valley can be seen as the latest manifestation of the Beltway's revolving door. But the size and scope of big tech and the increasing dependence of government on its products and talent suggests something more. The rise of the digital intelligence complex, like the military-industrial complex that President Dwight D. Eisenhower warned against in 1961, it represents a symbiotic relationship in which the lines between one and the other are blurred. That's where we're at, guys. That's where we're at. And I know you two know, but a lot of people don't grasp that right now. That is where we're at. We have a merging of the military-industrial complex and big tech, and of course with our government, which is our government is ruled by these corporations. Definition of fascism. People think fascism is a Proud Boy with a Trump hat. Fascism is it's different, and now with the technology that we have, it's a digital type of fascism, a technocratic panopticon,
and also intersectional,
and also a military, industrial, congressional, intelligence, media, academia, think tank complex, Mickey Mac, because it's not just the MIC now, it's the Mickey Mac.
No, and this is so important because the relationship that all of the Mickey Mac has with each other, and again, that's the military, industrial, congressional, intelligence, media, academia, think tank complex.
You didn't have to flex on me. I knew you knew it.
Well, for the people at home, because you rattled it off rather fast.
Yeah.
You did. You kind of flew through it. And I would like to give them the opportunity.
I'm sorry. It's muscle memory now.
But,
it's like muscle memory.
No, the relationship that media, academia, think tanks, and the intelligence community have with the military-industrial complex make it what it is. That's your propaganda machine. That is your TA telling you can't cite WikiLeaks.
Oh no, it wasn't the TA. It was
Or
full out.
the professor
it's the damn
telling you.
professor.
I mean, they did the same shit. They did the same shit to a number of people that I know, though, and they were going through like actual journalism school, trying to graduate. We're talking about somebody
I'm an
submitting
IR
their
major, so it's like
yeah.
yeah.
Talking about somebody submitting their master's, their thesis, and they're like, yeah, no, you can't use WikiLeaks.
Yeah, you can't use hacked materials, despite the fact that if you want to go into international relations, what would be better to study than the diplomats' own words themselves that were released with Cablegate? It's primary sources, guys. It's like, if you're a professor, you should fucking love WikiLeaks, like, cause that's primary sources.
Yeah.
That's what they're releasing. That's your fucking thing, dog. Like, that's supposed to be your thing as a professor and as like someone enthusiastic about academic honesty and shit. And
nope,
yet,
sorry,
and yet
would
here
only
we-
like secondary sources, and I would prefer those secondary sources to be from this approved list.
Yeah, no,
of
I'm
sources.
being dead ass. Like, I'm an international relations major. I'll like look at the requirements for a paper, and it'll be like, oh, you don't need any primary sources, but you need 7 secondary sources, and then it'll give you some fucking political science database that's where fucking 98% of it says a 70-year-old white dude that went to Israel for a semester and is now some big political analyst that I'm supposed to trust over WikiLeaks' own words themselves.
Yeah, because that's the point.
What's so funny about that, Johnny?
Because they went over to Israel. Because like it's like that's the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Israel-
thing.
Israel-
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I said that.
Yeah.
I was laughing.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, everybody, every facet of the empire has to spend, a weekend with the Zionists. It has to happen. Even Michael Moore here in LA, Chief Michael Moore of LAPD, 2014 JINSA counterterrorism conference participant in Gaza. Yeah, went right over to Israel to learn how they treat the terrorists. Yeah. On top of all the trips, all the training simulations and trips that the Sheriff's Department Special Forces does in Israel. And this is for every police department in America, or at least the worst ones for sure.
Do you guys have any super chats you want to read?
Let's see. I did see Jim Garrison.
Oh, we have some in Slow News Day.
Jim Garrison says it's complex. Sarah Wagner, thank you very much. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Go
okay.
ahead. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for the super rate, as it is always appreciated on the couch.
Did you really need to do that, Lori? I thought I was gonna get a break. Jesus, and what pops up on the Rokfin is Pasta's face. Hey guys, you want to see Pasta's face? Look, Pasta's fucking face is on this thumbnail with Jason Burmas. He did a show.
Hell yeah, you did, white man. And then
okay.
and we do have some super chats. So DJ Elf again, and Charlie Marks, thank you for the super chats, as it is always appreciated on the couch. I'm 66% Southern Italian, guys.
It's more believable.
Okay, now
that you
you're
are.
giving me the Felix, Steve.
You got the fee look down. He's got it down.
I've been working out. I have.
All right, guys. I'm gonna read some from our end on the Ray. We got Trey Wright. Thank you, Trey. You're always there. You're always helping out.
Trey,
Good looking out, Trey.
hope you're doing well.
Misha Kui, wish I could be there. Keep up the important work. Love you all. Thank you very much for the generous super Ray. Old Gringo, what's up, Old Gringo?
Hey.
Summer of 1970. Thank you for the super Ray. Reeve Barker, what's up, Reeve? Thank you. Trey, thank you again. JG, what's JG stand for? Thank you.
They're my initials backwards.
Jerry Garcia.
Sarah Wagner.
Sarah.
And Jin Do. Jin Do. I like it. Thank you for speaking hard truth. Awesome, guys. Thank you for the super raise.
Yeah.
Steve stole your lighter? Are we trying to start something, Steve? Why are you stealing people's lighters?
Yeah, Steve.
I did steal a lighter yesterday. I did. But unless you are my Fraggle, and you're the person in the chat who said that I stole your lighter. If you're not my Fraggle, then no, I did not steal your lighter. Yeah, no clue. I don't know what handle my Fraggle would use. So when I say this, if you guys are confused, you don't know what I'm talking about. Wook. A fucking wook. Just a bearded, dreadlocked, kind of rotund, generally furry fucking white kid. Like, just straight off of the parking lot of like, probably a fish show from, 2001. Wook. But rather than what I feel like is a little bit more derogatory, wook, I think that's a little bit more derogatory. I've decided to call him a Fraggle. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go check out an episode of Fraggle Rock. And that's what I did. It was a fucking Muppets thing, like back in the day.
No, I've heard of it. I've heard of it, but I don't know why the Muppets always come up when you're around. Like, is it? Are you like? It seems like you're really upset.
My God,
there.
Dance cares away.
Yeah.
Work is for another. Nobody.
Yeah. No. Like it sounds vaguely familiar, but maybe a little bit older. Yeah.
I grew up on
SpongeBob.
Avatar: The Last Airbender. Thank you very much.
Oh, no wonder.
Water, Earth.
So let me just
Fire.
say hi to some of the people on the YouTube. Fred Hampton's Ghost, Squids McCracken, Monarch, Jilly Love.
Hey, what's good?
Let's see, Steven Sheehan. Let's see, Harold White. Yeah, guys, I'm just trying to read. Maui Bill, nice to see you. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome.
Hey, shout
Reese
out
Mac.
Shout out Mad Mom. Shout out Jack Sith. Shout out Stevie from Redneckonomics.
Stevie.
Shout out Cannabis Saves the World. Shout out Gamer. Shout out Freethinker. Shout out Rob Juno again.
Yeah.
And shout out
yes,
Oz,
Fred Hampton's Ghost, I said.
Thomas, DJ Elf, and big shout out to, also in the chat, our very own Base God Tech Ninja, who I got to meet today.
Sleepy J.
Sleepy Josh.
Yeah.
Sleepy Josh.
Sleepy. Woo,
Not
woo.
any other variation.
My
of
salty hype
anything.
man.
Let's make it clear. I hope Pasta heard that. Yeah. So, guys, like, I don't know if we've said it enough, but yeah, we're fucked and we don't have a lot of time. So just on that subject alone. Another thing Pasta and I have covered is the water wars that are happening in Africa and Ethiopia. All of that is happening here too. And Kamala Harris said a bunch of stupid shit, and I just want to show you guys this clip. This clip regarding water. It's like 30 seconds long. Okay, I'm sorry.
Of time, they will be.
Oh no!
I know.
And here's the other thing, because I also, I'm in a lot of meetings on foreign policy. For years and generations, wars have been fought over oil. In a short matter of time, they will be fought over water. So when we think about building up our economy around our infrastructure on something like water policy, it's literally about jobs. It's about the fundamental source of life that Tammy Duckworth was talking about. It will sustain life.
I can't stand.
And it's about strengthening up our nation around a commodity that is a precious commodity.
It's
here's the
water.
other
It's
thing,
not a
'cause I
fucking
also-
It's not a
commodity.
Thank you, Glory.
Yeah. Are we unmuted? Are we unmuted? But yeah, what the tweet said. Shout out Richard McGowan. It's not a fucking commodity. It's water.
Like, you need it to fucking live.
H2O.
Like, hello. Why? God, we knew this was gonna happen again. We knew this was gonna happen. This I don't know what to tell you. She's awful, and she didn't get a single delegate vote. I'm always going to remind people of that. And she's going to be fucking president.
I'm always going to remind people of the fact that her Jamaican dad disowned her.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Wrote an article in the Jamaica Gleaner about it.
That tells you everything.
Big ups.
How do Jamaicans feel about her?
Fuck her.
Well. Oh, God. Yeah. Is there anything in particular that you guys wanted to point at?
I love that she just comes out and says it. I do,
oh, she's honest, yeah.
There's so much lip service paid to, we're fighting terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
This is a global war on terrorism. The world is a dangerous place, and the United States needs to, do its share to keep it safe and shit like that. And she goes, no, we've been fighting wars for oil, and now we're coming after the water. Because, again, this is the period of acceleration that we've been talking about. This is a unified predator class in a way that they've never been. And I understand there's going to be arguments and disagreements and flat out petty squabbles in battle. But for what matters, which is the complete commodification of nature, turning human beings into data points, and commodifying everything about us, including our DNA, including 100% of your health information. That's commodified now. Yep. And your ability to go places with it. The Excelsior Pass in New York is just abso-fucking-lutely dangerous.
I keep saying this is Orwellian, but it's not. It's
this
the
is
scariest
Kafka
shit.
on bad acid.
Yeah. Shit, Kafka sober is.
No, I mean,
No.
if you gave Kafka's writings bad LSD. That's where we are now.
I know.
It's not even like if you fucked up and got, some scamber, a little bit of cut with way too much strick or some shit. No. This is the words itself, the book itself being given bad acid. That's where we're at. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we've locked up press freedom in Belmarsh prison.
Yes. And as it stands, there's a precedent that criminalizes it and agrees with that. But, it's like Stella Morris said, first thing when she came out on that January 4th, right after the decision. This is not a win for press freedom.
Nope.
Okay? And a precedent has been, unofficially established that criminalizes journalism, and we have to fucking cross appeal that on the defense team, on the legal defense team side, and fucking stand up and fight like hell against it on the ground, because otherwise they're just gonna gain international jurisdiction over the press in silence, and we'll lose our ability to share information, to solicit information, to protect our sources, to publish and share anything that may be adversarial to the official narrative.
Let me ask you guys, since you guys are not typical independent media ex-Bernie supporters or any of that, the type that
but
we
I play
deal.
one on TV.
Yeah, you do.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're not at the cool kids table.
You're not. So
by the way, I don't have this is a nod to what's going to get recorded here, maybe done live here while I'm here, but I also would have felt hella left out.
Yeah,
I
you
really
pulled a
would
pasta.
have.
Yeah,
Really would have.
without the shit. Okay.
Let's be honest,
I mean,
man.
there's-
I mean,
but I
I
mean,
don't look
there's-
terrible in them.
But I
Oh,
mean,
shit.
there's been streams where both me and the guest have like Whitney Webb wears glasses and I wear the blue light glasses, so it's you've been.
I may have to get some of them blue light glasses.
Bro, I'm saying
You guys are
when you're
fucking
around
elitists.
artificial light and when you're genuinely though,
I need
when
them
you're
to
around
see.
artificial light and when you're around computers a lot, it helped because like I would get like Zoom headaches from like 3-hour classes of staring at Zoom, and then once I started like wearing these, it was like headache stopped. So it's like good. It's like Johnny says, the deep state is trying to kill our eyesight.
The deep state is trying to kill your eyesight.
Yeah, so we need more like fucking bionic contacts and more transhumanist bullshit going on. I know this is all speculating, guys. Hey, YouTube, I know you're sitting there holding that QAnon context warning. I know you want to give it to us. Slow news day, we don't give a fuck, okay? Or at least I don't. But.
Yeah, well, we're demonetized.
Yeah,
so,
and they're demonetized anyway, so. But just speculating, although there is a very present transhumanist agenda, and the main spearheaders of that agenda are currently heading the World Economic Forum and at the forefront of pushing the Fourth Industrial Revolution, stakeholder capitalism, and the Great Reset, as they write literal PDFs that you can find online titled COVID-19 and the Great Reset.
Kill Johnny's ear.
It's true. It's true. It's the actual name of the book.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many
Klaus
people
Schwab, COVID-19,
This
and the Great
vaccine
Reset?
is the foundation for the Fourth Industrial
Why
Revolution.
do you think so many people won't talk about the Great Reset on independent media?
I mean, is that a sincere question?
It is a sincere question. Like for people who don't know.
Okay, look, dude, we approach this from a place of activism.
Mm-hmm.
So we feel like it's incumbent on us to not only like resist the oncoming dystopia, but to tell people about it so that we can organize together to resist against it. The vast majority of independent media are people who want to be pundits. Their skin in this game is relative to their ability to be able to talk about it. It doesn't, like, if there's someone who's like, well, honestly, that doesn't really even sound that bad.
Yeah,
then they're not going to give a fuck. Or if they personally think that that this is nonsense, even though all of the information by the people who are doing the actual things is publicly available.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
even though. So wait. I'll try to get to it quick. I will. I promise. I will. But what we're dealing with are people who want to be media figures. And that's where they're going to do whatever they can to protect that identity. They're going to do whatever they can to protect whatever little space of media they've carved out for themselves, or little space of the internet they've carved out for themselves. And they are never going to say, like, the few things that will get you demonetized, that will get you kicked off of YouTube. Right. They're never going to do that. James Corbett just lost his channel today mid-live stream.
Yeah.
Do you guys not fucking get...
Yeah, I mean, listen, at Slow News Day, like, there's not going to be one story that we cover or that we bring to your attention that we don't share it because it genuinely needs to get out there. And because, like Steve said, we need to organize around resisting it. Like, a lot of the stories we do are like, please share this so we can raise the alarm on this issue. Like when we bring up shit about like the pre-crime or stuff with Warp Speed with Whitney Webb, or like the other day when I talked about like the wastewater leak in around Bradenton at Piney Point, like that shit that needs to get out there. And like allegedly independent media won't cover this shit, and it's fucking gross, because the problem with the Great Reset and the Fourth Industrial Revolution is it underscores a very common trend of colonialism and colonization and Western imperialism and further consolidation of power among Western elites. Like, that's what it is. That's what the Great Reset is at the heart. It's them trying to salvage what's left of their power and add a bunch of this transhumanist bullshit to it so they can gain control of that agenda and they can control the narratives around that. And to get there, what are they doing? They're going to start mining asteroids soon. They've already sold out. Mark Benioff, CEO of Salesforce, they have already sold out stakes at the bottom of the ocean to mine the ocean for resources. Because mining land isn't enough. Mining the Congo or the Central African Republic or Tanzania isn't enough for them. They have to go to the fucking ocean to do that. And guess what? They're still mining on land too. And when African leaders like John Magufuli in Tanzania resisted, they get fucking offed with a heart attack gun. Like, this is serious. It's such a crime. It's a crime.
Well, let me put it to you this
that
way.
Other leftists won't talk about what's
won't.
happening in Tanzania with John Magufuli. Because if you watch this, if you like Lumumba, if you like Sankara, if you like all of them, then you will love John Magufuli because he is kicking out all these Western companies and blocking their mining contracts. Yet he was offed because he refused to cooperate with the agenda of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And that's what's going to happen to people in the global south. They are going to continue being exploited for the purpose of extracting resources for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which will be dictated by big tech, by the Mickey Mac, by the national security state, by Western elites, by the fucking empire, not us, like stakeholder capitalism would want you to believe. So if you're not talking about this, fucking shame on you.
Well, the reason people aren't talking about this, Glory, is I think cognitive dissonance, because if they would know what you know, and even if they do know what you know, right? And even if they do know that this is a thing, if they accept that there are these powerful people, these powerful forces at play, they can't wrap their head around the fact that that is what's happening, because it's just too much. It's just too much for most people to see these connections, to see all of this happening. So what I'm trying to get people to understand is the alarm in her voice, the acceleration of just anxiety of this rant doesn't come from a place of I told you so, I know better. It comes from a place of wake the fuck up. I'm shaking you right now. Listen, the house is on fire. And you're over here reading a book, and you're not, like, I'm trying to save your life. And in terms of why there is that need, that pressing need to really talk about these things, is because they are very real. And for most people, if you tell them that, hey, there are these complexes that pretty much dictate your life. The president it's just PR. They're a face. They're not in power. You tell people this, they're going to tell you sound like a conspiracy theorist. A few years ago, they would have told you you're a fucking lunatic and you're crazy. The thing, at least now, Glory, is that there are voices like yours, and there are a lot of other people that are starting to build those bridges to sound the alarm of these things, because unfortunately humans are very emotionally driven creatures. It's an unfortunate thing and a good thing, and they only see what's in front of them. So when you talk about Julian Assange, and when you talk about the national security state, when you talk about, the Mick-Mac and all of these things that you're talking about, the Mickey Mac or whatever the fuck you say it.
Mickey Mac.
It even has a mascot. I'll show you.
Yeah.
When you talk about these things, people, like, it seems so foreign to them. It seems so far away to them. And, like, there has to be a way. I don't know. My question to you is, like, what is going to get people to pay attention to this? Because it's a lot easier for people to pay attention to Bernie Sanders and him being a chairman and doing absolutely nothing than it is for them to pay attention to what's going on in fucking Africa, what's going on with transhumanism, what's going on with these vaccine passports, what's going on with the data mining, all of these things that we talked about with Ryan yesterday. To even question COVID, they won't do it. Like, they won't even do it. And so what is it going to take for these people to start waking up? Like, what? I honestly don't have very much faith in a lot of people paying attention to something that is so far away for them, because they are so fucking, like, just deep rooted in what's happening in front of them. And in front of them, there's a fucking pandemic. No matter what you believe of the pandemic, there's an economic depression. There's fucking police state. There's all this shit. But it's a surface level observation. We need to get to what's behind all of that. So what the fuck do you do then when people don't pay attention?
You literally got to get out in the streets, occupy a space, and just talk to people. And
Lead, follow, or get the fuck out of the way. Okay?
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
That too.
It's time. Lead, follow, or get the fuck out of the way.
And don't lead on some white savior bullshit where it's like, oh, I want Medicare for all too, so I'm gonna keep doing me and being toxic and being a little bitch because at the end of the day, I'm fighting for you and we're in the same fight. Now don't criticize Alex. I still think she has our best interests at heart. I don't want to go around calling her a sellout just yet.
Oh, you mean Sandy?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we're on the same team, and I'll fight for you even if you don't like me. No.
We're not on the fucking same team.
No.
That's the thing. We're not.
No.
Yeah. No. These people that say they're on the same team are working to keep the mechanisms that have put us in this situation.
Yeah.
That's not being on the same team.
It's like you don't get to cave and vote for Joe Biden and legitimize this fucking system and sheepdog for it actively all election season and then pretend like you can lead a movement like you're the best fighter. Cause like, listen, here's a radical idea. Maybe you should take notes from the people that warned you about Joe Biden and told you that he would be doing exactly what he's doing now. And we're actually able and strong and firm enough in our beliefs to withstand all the gaslighting thrown our way. Like,
on the
it's a
daily.
radical idea, but yeah.
Dude,
Step aside,
independent
white
media would
saviors.
look a lot different. It would be a lot more effective if it wasn't so fucking just gate kept by little dick energy. Like straight the fuck up though, dude.
So
because
true.
look, dude, because when you guys get attacked, when I get attacked for having conversations with people that we don't agree with,
right?
The assumption is because their argument is what their argument is, we will somehow pick up all of those talking points and start running with them because we lack the character or the cogent arguments to defend against that.
Because that's what their heroes do.
Because that's where they're at. That's projection. It's 100% projection. When we talk to people that we don't agree with, sometimes they come over and see our point of view. Sometimes they don't. But the point is, we have the conversations because you don't get to see what happens the day you plant seeds. You don't. It takes a while.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus fuck, dude, like, I'm still blocked by Paula Jean Swearingen, but she's fucking making moves against the people who are in power.
Yeah.
Ish. The people who are in positions of perceived power.
Right.
And that's a fucking start. She wasn't there when the day that she blocked us. Yeah,
exactly.
No, but something about that, I guarantee you.
One of the things that irritates me most, somebody, an old friend commented that I went on a trip with them to when I met AOC 4 years ago, and she commented, the clip that got clipped out of us, right, when we were talking about election integrity, and she was a friend, and she's like, oh, Fiorella wasn't like this in 2016 when I met her, and that irritates the fuck out of me because I shouldn't be, and neither should you. We shouldn't be the same person. We should be evolving, changing. In the last year, there's just been this whole radicalization too of our channel. You can see it. That's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be stuck in 2016 and 2017 and talking about the same shit over and over again. You shouldn't be. That's wrong. I'm not the problem here. The fact that I change is a good fucking thing.
But Fiorella, new information came out that the Democratic Party and the DNC did, in fact, cheat Bernie Sanders in Iowa.
I know because I read it in The Intercept.
Canova, Tulsi Gabbard, nah. Women and women of color getting cheated?
Never.
Please.
Come on.
I'm a white savior. I don't know about them.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
Okay.
What resolution? Oh, okay, yeah. So, okay, so this is gonna irritate me and make me happy at the same time, partially. So there was a resolution to protect the First Amendment rights of journalists and publishers and pardon Julian Assange. Whereas multi-award-winning journalist Julian Assange, founder of WikiLeaks and an Australian citizen, faces extradition to the U.S. with a possible life sentence or the death penalty under the 1917 Espionage Act, even though in February 2016, a United Nations working group concluded that he was the victim of arbitrary detention by the UK and Swedish governments. And whereas the freedom of news organizations to acquire and publish information is protected under the First Amendment to the Constitution, and the California Democratic Party platform shows a commitment to, quote, condemn such practices that violate the First Amendment rights of journalists, unquote. And whereas in 2016 or 2010, WikiLeaks disclosed thousands of Department of State cables, Guantanamo Bay detainee assessments, and U.S. military reports related to the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, which mainstream news outlets such as the New York Times have regularly utilized, and Assange's prosecution would thereby imperil any and all news organizations and journalists for publishing classified information. Therefore, it be resolved that the California Democratic Party supports the call for an immediate pardon of all charges against Julian Assange. Authors Melissa Michelson, Linda Bassett. It was adopted by Field of Burn Democratic Club, Los Angeles, and I know there are other people behind that too. March 28th, 2021 for submission to KDEM 2021. Unfortunately,
The truck. Shout out James for the truck, and shout out Ray and Pamela for helping with that.
Yeah, big shout out to James, dude. James is awesome.
Yeah.
The truck driver. There's a second truck too in DC this week, and big shout out to Pamela Drew for making that possible. There was a guy named Ray who helped her make that possible. Or that's what the James said in a group DM. I don't know. I thanked him.
I just
have no idea who he is, but
wanted to say that unfortunately that was the club and the area of here where we live in, where she is in, they all approved it. But when it got taken to the California Democratic Party, it was denied.
Wow.
So that goes to show you that while there are some people that are on our side, a lot of the accusations that came back against Julian Assange, of course, because Democrats are majority dumbasses. I am
so
Russiagate, rapist, all these things that have been entirely debunked, which is why it's important to have people that constantly talk and clarify these things, which is why we're doing the panel, which is why we're doing the fucking protests. So props for the people who understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But the California Democratic Party is a piece of shit party.
Well, not to mention a while
ago,
lovely, soon to be recalled Governor Gavin McFuckass here in California. He vetoed a bill that would have given journalists at protest extra, journalists at protest, protection to cover shit and the ability to film the police and protest not 100 meters and 2 blocks away behind 30 skyscrapers. Give us permission to help film protests.
It bounced off the wall. I didn't.
Give us permission to help film protests. Without getting the shit beaten out of us or getting arrested or getting detained and cited by cops. And he vetoed that bill. So, yeah.
Yeah. Johnny, any other Super Rays? Okay.
I'm gonna check Slow News Day YouTube real quick.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Let me check over
What?
here.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
We do on the Rokfin.
If I speak.
Here,
you know what?
Glory, you can handle the last two.
Thank you for the super raise. It is always appreciated on the couch. Let's see. Where did we leave off?
It's the last two.
Okay. Action for Assange! Yeah, action for Assange. Thanks for the super raise, says Scoop Gang. And Jindo, thanks for the super ray. Love y'all.
All right, guys. Yeah. So, what? Yeah. So the protest is going to be Sunday, April 11th, 2021. Tomorrow, no, in 2 days, at noon Pacific. We're going to start at CBS and we're going to go to CNN. Please join us if you can. It's really important. It's far more important than crying about being demonetized or having a few videos demonetized and then getting, the privilege of going on every single network.
Protest about fucking free speech.
Yeah.
And fuck censorship.
Yeah. Or even starting your own. I don't care if you even, do your own. None of that is happening. And then you're crying about. You're going on big platforms and crying about censorship when you try to get other channels shut down. Don't apologize to them. Yeah. So it's
YouTube.
interesting. There's this whole elitist mentality that happens in independent media where these white saviors get to go on big platforms and cry about it when they're not even demonetized like we have been for months.
Yeah.
And they don't even challenge
and while
the
they
security
also
state.
simultaneously simp for the security
Yeah.
state. Like, listen, agreeing with all of the empire's narratives isn't gonna help you in the end.
Oh no, but the Trumpist supporters, the conspiracy theory about elections.
I know
we did
you
it.
don't.
We took it down. That's not what we say.
I know
It's
you don't
conspiracy
agree
theory.
with the Trumpers, okay? But at the end of the day, they're still gonna go for you, even if you a bitch ass that's simping for the security state's agenda. Jordan Charlatan.
No matter how much you say that election fraud isn't real, that it's a conspiracy theory by QAnon and Trumpers, and you continue to shout that while complaining you're being censored, it's not going to stop the fucking fascistic censorship from happening. It's just not. No matter how deep you fucking stick that boot down your throat.
Nope.
No matter how many
No
times
matter
you don't
how
say
much you
Assange
deep
or say
throat
whatever
that
it
boot.
is, it's not going to stop.
No matter how much that thin blue line dildo goes up your ass, it's not gonna help.
All you're doing when you placate YouTube after they fuck you is showing them that you've learned the new dance moves they've been trying to teach you.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting trained. You're getting trained by a corporation that is part of the government, that is the national security apparatus. You're letting the national security apparatus dictate your content.
Yep.
You should stop that.
Stop it.
Yeah. It'll pay off in the end if you stop it, but if you don't, you're going to look like a complete jackass because the truth will win eventually.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thanks guys for watching. We love you. We appreciate you. Come join us this weekend and Convo Slow News Day out.
Love y'all.
Good
Not
luck
Slow
to
Day
us
News.
all.